Hello, and welcome to Filmet's ROES Designer Suite Basic Creation tutorial. Here I will explain the actual designing and a physical display of the Designer Suite tools. Please make sure that you have watched the Designer Suite Basic Explanation tutorial before watching this one. Our tutorial first starts you off at your working space with the 8x10 from the previous Designer Suite tutorial. What I first want to do is place my grid up so I can properly see where I'm going to be putting my nodes. I am changing the size to 0.25 because we usually like 1/8 of an inch bleed, and I know that a quarter would be even better when designing this awesome template. Make sure you click Show Grid, and then grid spacing 0.25, and then hit Enter, and it will adjust it. I want to draw a few nodes onto my template because I want multiple images on this 8x10. First, I click on the Draw tool, and then I am going to click and drag in the template area where I want my first node to go. Click and then release to create. I do not like the location of where I have drawn this node, so I'm going to go back up to my tools and hit the Edit tool, which is actually already selected for me. Once you click on this tool, you want to take your cursor to the middle of the node you have drawn. Once you enter this node, you will see it turn blue with a blue dot in the middle with a line. This signifies the center of the node. You want to take your cursor to the bottom blue dot in the center and hover over it until the cursor changes to look just like the Edit tool. Right there is where I want it to be. Whenever it has changed like this, it means I can actually move the node. So I'm going to actually click on this and move it to the top corner, still leaving a 1/4 inch bleed all around. So it looks like I need to go just a little bit over, and there you go. I'm going to draw a few more nodes to get a little bit of a design going here. So I'm going to draw a total of 3 of them. I'm going to put one more here. So now I'll have 3 of them. Now that I have 3, I feel that I want to tilt my middle node just a little bit so I have a unique look with it. Again, make sure you're on the Edit tool, which is already selected for me. This time I want to actually go to the blue dot in the middle of that particular square by making sure first I have to click on it so that you see the blue outline. And then I want to go to the blue dot in the middle of that square at the top this time. As you can see, the icon changes to a rotate. It looks like your triangles are pointing at a corner. That is the tool that it enables that you can rotate it. So what I'm going to do here is actually rotate this node. As you can see now, clicking and dragging, it is rotating it to whatever way I want it to be. I'm going to just tilt it just a little bit this way, and that is perfect. You can actually rotate in all different directions, upside down, sideways, a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left. It really depends on your preference with that. Now that I've positioned it in place, everything looks good. I want to add a background to my template, so I'm going to actually select the background node. I can do this by clicking on the image tool at the top and then ensuring I'm clicking on the physical background node. As you can see, it's going to highlight in blue so you can tell that you're actually physically on that background area. We have available in our options on several of our templates background. So I'm going to click on background. I think I'll go with the metal 1B because I like the metal look. I think that looks pretty cool, though I'm not really sure about it. I'm actually going to change that up. It's going to be for a wedding album or something of that nature, so I'm going to want something a little more plain. So I'll unclick this, so I'll take off that as an option, and then I'm going to change that background color. Now you can change this background color like you've done it in albums or anything else that you've done before when you're creating your own. Some of you know how to do this already. All that you need to do is click on it and you'll see your dark gray bar come up underneath here. I'll click on fill then. Make sure the fill button is actually check marked, and then you can adjust to any color that you like. I'm gonna go with this pretty blue. I like blue, it's my favorite color, so we'll go with that. And everything looks great. So now I have my background filled. Once I have the color background I want, I will drag my image up into the nodes that I have created. As you can see, they do overlap in the order of creation. You can use the layer up and layer down buttons on that. So let's get our images up there. Put my little buddy up there first. He's not rotated right, so we gotta make sure we rotate him. You should already know how to use the rotate image tool. I'm also gonna zoom out so I can get the full image there. Let's see, let's add these crazy penguins here down here at the middle one. Yeah, they look fine. And then we're gonna add this nice pretty blue flower on this last one. That also needs rotated, so we'll go ahead and rotate that. Zoom out. The problem is I kind of wanted the penguins to be more dominant, and like I said, there's options for you to bring images back and forth. So I'm going to click on this first middle node, and I'm actually going to bring it forward with the layer up button. These are the two buttons that you can use. So layer up will actually bring that image forward on top of these two back images. Everything looks pretty cool at this moment, so I'm going to actually add the text to my bottom next. So I'm going to click on this text tool, and I'm going to click and drag just like I did with those image boxes up there. And I like to be within the right area. You get your typical type text here. I'm going to go click on that hand at the top, and then we're going to edit it. Summer fun. I don't like the color, so I'm gonna change the color. So we move our RGB bars over the whole way. I'm gonna have white on that. My font, that's the one I want. So I'm gonna go with that. Now do note, as all of you should, any fonts that you ever put in here, if you're choosing a special font like I did, unless we actually have it as a standard font here at the lab, it will come over to us as an image node, so be double checking your spelling because we won't be able to ever edit those. There's other options that you can choose for your images up top, which I have not mentioned, and that is doing masks and vignettes and strokes. What I'm actually going to show you here is how to do that. You might already know how to do this, but that's okay. So what you do is you click on the one you want. I'm obviously on this back one with the flower, and I am going to make that a unique mask is this button here. I kind of like that look, so we're going to stick with that one. You can choose so many from in this area, whatever you want to do. You can spell someone's name out, you can do a heart, a star. There's a lot of variety on it. And then you can also, I'm going to click on my buddy over here to the left, and I'm gonna do a stroke around him because I want him to stand out. So what we'll do is we'll click on the stroke button, which is actually the rainbow looking one, and then I'm gonna click on stroke, and then I actually like the white, but let's make it more cyan to stand out. So we'll have a stroke now on this one, crazy huge one. You'll be able to see it better, but you could definitely have your stroke at any size. You can adjust it, you can make it bigger, a little bit smaller. Some people like it, you know, a lot smaller than that, so let's tone it down a bit. Let's go 0.10. That's a little bit better. It's kind of big, but not too much. And now you'll actually be able to see that you got a stroke. Everything that I have chosen is what I want. So I'm gonna add this to a template. Now obviously this is just a random template that I've designed. 99% of people's items are not gonna look like this, and you're not gonna use your standard images. But this is just an example of how you can set it up. There is multiple different ways to do it with just drawing your own. You can have your own little templates. You can even, you know, add this to your favorites. Please make sure you watch the favorite tutorial if you have not already. Add it to your favorites so you can use it for future references, especially if you have like a senior or a reoccurring type of theme that you like to do for a school or a bridal designs or anything like that. Save it so you have it for later, and it's gonna save a lot of the stuff that you do select for it, like your background or your text area, at least where your notes are located. It will save a lot of that for you. So I would suggest saving it if you do know and are pretty sure that you're going to be using it in the future, because as you saw, it did take me a little time to set everything up, but once you get a hang of it and once it gets going, it's really not that hard at all. So I'm going to add this to my order, and I'm all done with this template. I'm now going to actually create something with the montage tool. First, I need to clear out my template area because I am already done with that. You can do this by clicking on the reset button down here in the lower left-hand corner. And yes, I want to reset the entire template. I'm done with that. Now I'm going to use the final tool, the montage tool. The montage tool is very convenient for using templates with weddings or anything like that you need multiple nodes drawn up. I'm going to go ahead and click on the montage tool button. I'm going to go 3 across, 3 down, and I'm going to make my gap width and gap height 0.25 because I want to stay within our 1/8 inch bleed. And I'm going to create new montage. Recreate montages if you accidentally don't have the right amount of nodes, or if you want to recreate another one, you could go ahead and click that. Now it's going to create the montage, and as you can see over here in our template area, it is conveniently designed it up for me. I don't have to draw them. They're in the right area, equally apart. Very convenient, like I said, especially for proofing or weddings. This is the nice way to do it on your own. I'm not really quite satisfied with how this layout is. I want to get a little more creative with it, so I'm going to actually delete one of these nodes. I'm going to go with the middle one first. Got to make sure that I'm actually on the edit tool, and then I'm going to cut, and it's going to ask me to remove it, and I want to say yes or okay. And then now you'll see there's actually an open area here. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to click on this node here, make sure I'm on the edit tool, and I'm going to click and drag down this last node. I'm going to get a little more creative. I'm going to make a big long one in the middle. I'm not going to do any rotating. It's not going to be that crazy. You can move them if you really want to. For the most part, a lot of people don't, just because it's a little bit inconvenient when you do that. And then from there you can add your images to the actual image area. So I'm going to click up on the hand tool and start dragging a couple items in here. You can leave them blank if you really want to. It's not going to show up unless you put strokes like we showed previously on it. I'm going to rotate my little buddy here because he always comes in rotated wrong. That's okay. I think I'm pretty satisfied with it. I can change the background like I did with the other one by clicking on that background node. Go ahead and click fill. Let's do some funky colors here. Well, we'll go traditional black this time. That looks good. Alright, I'm going to add order. I'm all satisfied. I have everything now that I've created with this tool. This pretty much sums up the tutorial for the Pro Filmet ROES Designer Suite Basic creation. Thank you for tuning in. For more information on the other aspects of our ordering software, please watch our other tutorials, and thank you.